T-Rexes were too slow to chase you down. To ascertain how size and speed relate to one another, researchers examined more than 500 species. In more precise terms, a scarcity of oxygen is the biological limiting factor. Sprinting is an anaerobic activity, and it can't be sustained for very long due to the slow oxidation of fuel supplies. And bigger animals use up their ability to oxidize fuel much more quickly. Dinosaurs were covered in dandruff. Dinosaurs with feathers shed a lot of dandruff. That dinosaurs didn't shed their skin like an old suit, as reptiles do, is a nasty but interesting truth. Instead, dandruff is the result of the gradual skin loss of dinosaurs. The dandruff of dinosaurs resembles that of birds and people. The lack of fat on the dino dandruff indicated that its owners weren't yet able to fly. Dinosaurs didn't inhabit every part of the earth. There seemed to be dinosaurs everywhere. They oppressed our predecessors who were mammals and governed the whole planet with tyranny. However, dinosaurs did not have the ability to colonize the equator till around 30 million years after they first appeared. Only a tiny, exclusive group of meat-eaters could survive at the lower latitudes. By examining the carbon content of the soil and plants, the variety of the flora, charcoal, and fossil records, researchers were able to map the ancient ecosystem. Allosaurus was forced to scavenge, cannibalize. The Tyrannosaurus rex's smaller but no less vicious cousin, the Allosaurus, was an aggressive, hell-raising predator. However, neither Allosaurus nor his bigger relative were always raptors. They occasionally had to scavenge. The Mygat Quarry in Colorado is home to a vast collection of 150-million-year-old fossil bones that provide proof of Allosaurus' less than honorable feeding habits. About 700 of the 2,368 bones discovered at the quarry bore the serrated teeth impressions of Allosaurus. Mother dinosaurs created birthing colonies like birds. Dinosaurs are not much sociable. Dinosaur nesting communities that cooperated to protect their immature offspring, much like the bird-like communities they would eventually give rise to. Discoveries in the Gobi Desert contain 15 clutches with at least 50 eggs each. A continuous crimson stripe of silt across the eggs dates them to the same nesting season and serves as another memento of the long-ago flood that so fortunately saved them. The Hadrosaurs were also the toughest. The fossilized remains of herbivores with humpbacks, crest-headed heads, and duckbills are mostly those of hadrosaurs. More hadrosaur skin has been preserved than any other skin, both often and in large quantities. Two explanations were given. Hadrosaurs may have lived and perished near rivers, where it was more likely that they would be buried under sediments and turn into fossils. Or maybe there were just more of them. Some dinosaurs were unbelievably small. The tiniest dinosaurs were among the most incredible. One of these creatures was recently discovered in a 99-million-year-old Myanmarian Mesozoic fossil, and it may be the smallest dinosaur ever. Oculodentavis congrad, a little dinosaur in a teacup, is what it is. Only its severed head, preserved in resin, has been discovered by scientists thus far. Though smaller than any contemporary hummingbird, its head is barely half an inch long and hummingbird-like. Dinosaurs plagued by feather-eating parasites. It's possible that dinosaurs with feathers constantly groomed themselves, much like birds do now, to get rid of parasites that ate their feathers. It's an adage that whenever a void arises, something new is produced through evolution to fill it. Frequently at the price of something else. And as soon as dinosaurs gained feathers, they were plagued by insects that looked like lice and dined on the feathers. Dinosaurs laid leathery, soft-shelled eggs. All of the retrieved dinosaur eggs for a period had hard shells because they had a better chance of surviving. It turns out that the first dinosaur eggs were soft and squishy. All the early dinosaur eggs were non-mineralized, according to molecular research. In contrast, the embryos within were protected by a leathery covering, much like modern turtle and snake eggs. Dinosaurs buried their clutches and allowed them to incubate underground to secure the survival of their young. T-Rexes couldn't move their tongues. Almost all depictions of a roaring, tongue-wagging T-Rex are inaccurate. The Tyrant King had a crocodilian tongue that was bonded to the inside of its mouth. Thus, a mass comparison of languages is revealed. To give some context, consider the tongues of modern dinosaurians, like crocodiles and birds, as well as those from dinosaurs, the pterosaurs that are connected to them. The hyoids of the animals that could move their tongues were longer and had a characteristic form.